Great to see you all again. So we just wanted to come and arm you guys with some good information. You know, the election was nuts. Everyone was nuts about the election, but it's over now. And guess what? Well, we're still back to work. You know, kids are still going to school. You know, it's still a normal. We're getting back to normal here. And just kind of give you guys a real quick here, you know, factors that affect the housing market. Basically, it's jobs, supply and demand, and local versus regional market, and the tax laws. And this all has an impact on housing. And all of them have been nuts. So it's just no wonder people are a little bit, you know, shocked right now, or a little bit stunned, and they're just not doing they're not doing a whole lot. They just want to, when there's uncertainty, people get frozen. They just freeze, and they just, you know, don't take action. So that's what's been happening. Interest rates also affect, you know, the housing. You know, interest rates have gone up. Mortgage rates have gone up in the last, you know, year or two. We're 30-year fixed right now is over 5%. But guess what? That's still what we were in 2014. And overall, in the last 45 years, it's on the lowest part of the, you know, on the lowest part of the chart. So we have a chart. Brad found a great chart for the last 45 years of mortgage rates, and right now we're in the lowest percentile. So you could feel it in the monthly payment, but it's not enough to really make that much of a difference. I mentioned the stock market. You know, the stock market is, you know, when people are, you know, shoveling a lot of money into their 401ks, which a lot of our clients do, you know, or SEPs, or, you know, whatever their retirement plan is, and they keep getting the statements and their market value is getting crushed, you know, they're going to get a little bit nervous. I mean, the 401ks were decimated last month. They made a little bit of a comeback, but the stock market has been a big factor in getting people really nervous because they've seen their retirement accounts. And whether you like it or not, whether the guy's 30 years old or 35, a lot of millennials like yourselves that we work with and our clients, they still see the money, it's still savings, and they see it get off 20%, and they're not too happy about it. So it totally makes sense. Political climate, you know, touched on that. International trade war with China, lots of stuff. Overall, though, the last 7 years, the East Side, just to speak on the East Side, it's been a juggernaut. It's just been an unstoppable force. I mean, Highland Park has probably gone up in the last 7 years, what, about 100%? 110%. Some of these areas have doubled. So in any market, keep in mind it's a market. If things slow down or don't go up as fast, it doesn't mean that it causes pandemonium, you know? So don't be worried about that. The East Side is a little bit insulated because of the job market. You got Hollywood, you got downtown, you got a huge law firm base in downtown that's purchasing on the East Side, and then most of our clients, and probably you guys too, is entertainment space people that are, you know, purchasing over here on the East Side, or, you know, Los Feliz, Silver Lake. So, you know, we got entertainment influence, we got commercial development, low inventory, and then rental rates. How about rental rates? You guys, what does it cost? How much does it have to pay to rent a decent 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house? In, say, Highland Park. You manage property. How much?
Yeah,
2,000. 2,000. Probably on the low end, right?
I just sold a 500 square foot 1-bedroom in Echo Park, just opening up in December. 2,500.
1 bedroom. 1 bedroom. How many square feet? 500 square feet. Crazy. And so, you know, keep in mind, you know, when they pay that, whether the $2,000 or the $3,000 per month, that's money thrown away. You know, if you pay $3,000 or $3,500 for a mortgage, at least you're still getting tax deductions. You get mortgage interest deductions. The real estate taxes with the new tax law is limited, but you still get something. And it's just and keep in mind, the best thing, guys, that they didn't change with the new tax law, although they did try, and I was calling like crazy our congressman to put my 2 cents in. They didn't change the sale on home. So, you know, if someone sells a house, and if they've lived in it 2 out of the most recent 5 years, it's tax-free to the extent of $250,000 on single and $500,000 for married filing joint. So that's tax-free money. That's the only loophole in the tax code is for primary residence on the sale, that you can exclude the gain. They did not take that away with the new, although they did try. So that stayed intact. That means that people, they've made all this money, they can go sell it, go buy something else. This shouldn't be confused with the 1031 exchanges, which is a whole separate, that's for investment property. I'm talking owner-occupied primary residence. 200, that's still intact. So that's good. Now, what's happening now? You got, like I said, we have I touched on this earlier, we got slower sales in the suburbs, such as Santa Clarita, Simi Valley, Thousand Oaks. But a lot of the areas like outside, that are out 30 minutes or 45 minutes, those areas have softened. And again, like I said, we're seeing it a little bit in here. There's a lot of we have probably right now over 100 clients in our database that have been, some of them are your clients. You guys, they're pre-approved, they're ready to go. We've already got their documents, they're ready to write offers, but they're kind of meandering on the fence and this and that, and we're trying to tell them that, hey, the election, now we could at least check one thing off the checklist, right? The election's over, and then have to worry about the election like the world was going to end. Okay, we're still here. People are still going to work, still smog and cars on the freeway. But I don't know, that's what we're seeing. You guys who here's seen a little bit of, resistance from buyers, being a little bit more weary or wanting to wait, or you guys seeing that too?
Yes.
What are some of the objections you're getting, Michael, for?
That values are just going down, so why buy now, wait till it goes down. They'll execute.
Yeah, see, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean, values haven't gone down, that's the thing, and it's just stuff that the market will adjust to the market. The market doesn't care about psychology, it doesn't care about how you feel today or how you felt yesterday. The market's the market. There's a bunch of willing buyers and sellers are gonna pay, just because if the sellers are being unrealistic, in any market, they're not gonna get their price. They have to be reasonable to an extent. But keep in mind, guys, that the crash you guys are kind of too young to remember, but back when we had the crash in 2006, 7, 8, keep in mind that back then it was a very fickle thing. I mean, we were doing 100% financing. No one had any skin in the game. It was yeah, sure, I'll take the house. Oh, you work at Starbucks? Oh, good, you got a Pulse. Okay, you got the loan. That was sort of like that. Not that extent, Brad, but I mean, it was like, bottom line is people would take could qualify for those loans. So when things got tough, the interest rates adjusted on their loans, and their payment doubled. What they said, see you guys, I'm out of here. And that's what happened. Now, in the last 10 years, we've been writing the best A-plus paper loans with 10, 20, 30% down. People aren't, and plus you couple that with the value increases, there's no way these people are gonna walk away from their houses. So that's eliminated. You're not gonna see a big glut of inventory because people decide to walk away from their house because Trump's gonna get reelected 2 years from now, whether or not, it's not gonna happen. It doesn't work that way. There's too much skin in the game. And they could sell, I suppose, if they wanted to, but where are they gonna go? So, again, it's just a lot of this is press. Keep in mind, a lot of the stuff you hear, the press is talking about the housing market as a whole. They're not over here in East LA saying, yeah, we're in Silver Lake today, the market's great, They're taking into consideration Arizona, Arkansas, every place. So you have to kind of pick and choose what you listen to. So again, one word is uncertainty. That's what's caused a little bit of this. Rising mortgage rates, however low historically speaking, stock market correction, unstable political environment. That's kind of going to work itself out. If you listen to Trump on yesterday, he was saying how willing he is to work with the Democrats and this and that, and who knows what's going to happen. I don't know. Maybe he'll be thrown out of there, maybe not. It doesn't matter. We're here in East Side LA, we're going to do business, and we're going to be fine. Now, as you notice, the trend is downward. That's the price of the bond. Okay, so the interest rates work inversely. So if the market is going down, like it has been since this goes back 18 months, I want to show it to you guys. You can see that red line, the downward slope, and we're still going down. That means interest rates have gone up significantly. That's a pretty steep drop in a relatively short amount of time, which has resulted in about a 1.5, what'd you say, Brad, about 1.5% increase in mortgage rates?
Almost that.
Okay, still not the end of the world. Okay, it's still low. I mean, that was a sugar high that we had back when the rates were 3.5 or 3.75%, when the Federal Reserve is pumping $10 billion a month into the mortgage-backed security market. That's over. So now we're still on the low end of interest rates. So people that wait, Michael, they were saying, that want to wait, they're going to wait for higher interest rates. Tell them, oh, good, okay, you want your mortgage payment to be 30% higher than it would be if you bought today. This just to give you guys an idea of what the purchasing power is when the mortgage rate goes up 1%, how the purchasing power drops. And Michael, this would be a good one if you hear that, or you guys hear people are waiting for something, but they're guaranteed they're going to have less purchasing power if the mortgage rates. Fannie Mae has already predicted interest rates are going up next year for mortgage rates. The Federal Reserve will hike the rate next month in December. Question, when the Federal Reserve raises the rates, what index are they talking about? I'll give you a multiple choice. Treasury, Treasury bill rate, federal funds rate, mortgage rates. Make it easy, one of the three. 33% chance. Mortgage? 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 Mortgage?
I didn't hear the question.
Okay, when the Federal Reserve, when they always say, oh, the Fed's going to raise the rates, the Federal is going to raise the rates. What does that mean? Are they going to raise what? Interest rates, but what interest rate? Is it the federal funds rate, the Treasury the T-bill rate, or the mortgage rates? Which one are they talking about? The loan. I'll give you a hint. The rate they're talking about is the rate at which the Federal Reserve lends money to member banks like Chase or Bank of America or whoever the big banks are. Yeah, federal funds rate, not mortgage rates. So here's the moral of the story. When they raise the rate, it doesn't necessarily mean mortgage rates are going to go up. It affects credit cards, auto loans, home equity lines of credit, it does, but not necessarily mortgage rates. It may or may not. Sometimes it does. Do you want to elaborate on that at all?
No, that's a very good point, because it is a common misperception that people think when the mainstream news talks about raising rates, they're talking about mortgage rates. It's a complete misperception. So those of you that thought that, you're in the vast majority. Your clients think that. They think that that's what's happening, but that's not the case. It's the federal funds rate. It's the rate where banks borrow and overnight to meet their minimum criteria as they have to by law. So like Doug said, it could go one way or the other. The reality is, Romico, if your clients are waiting, they're going to wind up with a higher interest rate, right? Because we are on a trend where rates are going up. What we like to say, I'll just add one more thing to that, is there's less than 2% of people that buy a home, get into a 30-year mortgage, and don't get out of that for 30 years and pay off their property, less than 2%. What happens? They refinance, they sell the property, they get divorced, they file bankruptcy. There's all sorts of reasons they don't keep that same loan. So it's a short-term thing. The next cycle for rates could be 2 years from now, it could be 4 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 6 months before rates come down, but eventually they will come down. So what somebody really needs to think about when you're talking to your clients and you're trying to get them off the fence is, can you afford it now? Is it better than renting? And are you going to be happier in this, in a house that you purchased? Because that loan should be dictating whether you do this right now or you do it later. Make sense?
Yeah. Thanks, Brad. And just elaborate what Brad said about the trend. You know, look at this chart. Look, this is a picture's worth 1,000 words. My best friend is a portfolio manager, and he always uses the phrase, "The trend is your friend." Okay. Now, anyway, look at this. Tell me what the trend is. Is this an upward trend or a downward trend? Downward, exactly. So that means mortgage rates are going up on a downward trend. So you just said pictures worth 1,000 years. Said, well, there's not any evidence from a technical perspective that mortgage rates are going to drop. You're in an increasing interest rate environment, as Brad said. So they wait, they pay higher rates. How much higher? Where will rates go? I don't know. I could see us dealing with 6.5% 30-year fixed rates in the next 12 to 18 months. We're about, what, 5.25 now?
A little less than that.
5?
5%.
Okay, so about 1.5%. I can see it happening.
It's possible.
Okay, so anyway, and then back to this schedule here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are two separate scenarios. Basically, what we're saying is for a 1% increase in rates, this guy at a 750 purchase, his purchasing power would drop to 685. That's 65 for a 1% increase in the rate. He loses $65,000 in purchasing power. On a $1.2 million purchase, he loses $100,000 of purchasing power. So if your guy wants to wait, now he's going to get a crappier house and a higher payment. That's the true cost of waiting. This is just a little hit to the stock market. You can see that at the end of the chart, you can see where it tailed off there. That's a big drop. Okay, it resulted in about 15% drop in the value, overall value, which is a lot. And other sectors like technology were hit a lot harder. All right, now let's talk about some fun stuff. This is my favorite part of the presentation. More about the East Side. Can you tell I love the East Side? By the way, my parents were high school sweethearts over at Marshall High School. So I'm like real McCoy East Side, okay? Born and raised, all right? So Netflix, we've been doing business with a lot of Netflix employees lately. They have their Sunset campus in Hollywood. They have a huge spot now, and they leased a whole building practically right across the street, which is, I believe, is the old Channel 5 building. And this building, guys, is going to be so state of the art. It's not even done yet. They're redoing it. They're going to have like docks for drone delivery in the future. This drones will be, coming and dropping shit off. I don't know. Amazon, the guy that just came, the Amazon guy, he ain't gonna be doing that. It's me, the drone, doing it over there. So that's really cool. And then along, I usually, when I come in to work, I get off at Hollywood Boulevard, shoot across to our office in Los Feliz. If you haven't been there yet, some of you guys, I know Michael, you've been there, and Deborah, you've been there, but you guys come over and visit us anytime. We got great coffee and a lot of smiley faces, but that whole Hollywood corridor is getting transformed. It's getting bought up. There's one next to Barnsdale Park. I know you guys all know this strip center, that ugly one right next to Barnsdale Park. And then immediately, I couldn't get a great picture of it, but immediately across the street, that's already been demoed. I don't know what's going to go in there, but I did some research on this one. Check that out, what's going in there. Isn't that cool? That's going to be like a retail on the bottom, and it's coffee and restaurants, and then it'll be like a live-work thing, and then on the top you're going to have basically condominiums. Don't know how many units it's going to be, but it's going to be beautiful. Look at that. And then immediately across the street, like I said, it's totally demolished, even larger area. I believe it's going to be the same thing. I don't know. Or it's Kaiser expanding, one of the two, I think. So lots of stuff happening. These builders, when I started in the business, I started with a developer, and these guys have in-house research departments, economists. These guys know what they're doing. They're not going to go fork over. That land sold for $10 million. So the builder's going to fork out $10 million just for the dirt. Then he's got to pay all the permits, soft costs, and construction costs. So this is a big money project. So again, we're dealing with low inventory. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is that, and you guys see it too, a lot of East Coasters are moving in here. I talk to people from New York, Boston, all the time. You know, they're coming in. Our team is just constantly, you know, and some of them are already here. I just know when I see a 917 or a 646 area code on my phone, it's you know, I know you just memorize them, that they're clients and that they're coming to sunny LA. They're over the cold. I get it. So that's going to push push demand, and again, we're still in a low mortgage rate environment. And speaking of which, you know, or Michael, you may want to show your clients this, and I can give you a bigger printout of this, or Janet can send it to you. You know, despite all this stuff, they're still predicting a 7% increase in values next year. And this is in Los Angeles. So I don't see a crash coming. I do see higher mortgage rates coming. Tax laws are wonderful that they're still there. And whether you're purchasing a home or selling a home, and that goes for investment properties too. And there's just a lot of good stuff still happening. So any market's going to come off a little bit. It's not going to be the double-digit increase every single year, like any market. That wouldn't be a good thing. But hey, long term, now you guys have some ammo to arm yourselves with when you go out there. So that's all I had today. And then we'll take, Brad and I are happy to take some questions. Thanks so much for having us today. I really appreciate it. Summer, thank you so much.